I am in awe of the power that is in this room, of the people who called in, of the ones who couldn't make it. Each and every one of you have been instrumental. You are a part of history, and just know that that is a beautiful legacy to be a part of. So my name is Rosangel Pérez. I'm one of the Pérez sisters. I'd like to start with this quote of Cafecito break. This is us right here. My sister couldn't make it. Cafecito break. Cafecito break is named after a Cuban espresso. Cafecito means Cuban espresso. And so that was intentional for us because we know what's happening in Cuba, right? And we understand what kind of sentiment and mentality has been creeping up in the United States, right? And holding us hostage. And the espresso part is meaningful too, because we were founded on preserving the art of the freedom to express, an espresso. So my background, my sister and I, we are from the music television industry. My sister comes from VH1 Save the Music, when that was a thing. And I got my start at VH1, then made my way over to MTV, then BET Networks, and then back to MTV. So I've got over 20 years experience in media, both on the corporate professional side and then 14 years with my sister and I. I like to start with this. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Martin Luther King Jr. This is a quote that lives on my website. It was something that lived almost with me every single day as I saw what was happening. I knew when we were being told that we were going to shut down for 2 weeks that I was a lie. And at that moment, just to take you back to March 2020, my sister and I were in our tiny brick and mortar in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And when we were told that we had to shut down, I remember it was a Sunday night, and we had already been producing Cafecito Break since 2012. And you know when you get that feeling that God wants you to talk, but you trembling inside? So we had to do this video, and my sister and I called it 12 feet apart. And you see the video, me over here, and then my sister was all the way in the back, right? And we did that exaggerated, but we were trembling as we were saying that in March 2020, we told everyone, we think that this is going to be longer than 2 weeks, and we think forced vaccinations are coming. And I was a squeaky wheel in 2020 as well on LinkedIn. And this was something I posted there. Who the heck imagined we would be living like this in 2020, under curfew and stay-at-home shutdown for God knows how many months? This morning, it all started to get to me. Do I feel scared? No, I do not. Despite the unsettling circumstances, when I tune in with my intuition and the vibe of now, I feel a happiness in the air. The little children can be powerful guides right now. Nurture the child around you and within you. And this was March 22, 2020, when I wrote that. So I had a feeling, right? So why was I talking about that? Because I started to already sense the desperation in people when it was 2 weeks, right? For the most part, people were very excited. Oh, vacation, I'm excited. I've been so exhausted. I remember I jumped into a Zoom with some of my MTV colleagues or former MTV colleagues, and everybody was so welcoming of that break. And I remember looking at that Zoom and looking at all of those little boxes, there must have been 40 or 50 of them, and thinking, this is the end of mainstream media as we know it. And I don't know how, I'm not even in a position to tell this to them yet. because they're just going to have to find out. Everybody's just too excited for the 2 weeks, right? Okay, what would start happening? Well, as what I forgot to mention was in 2019, I'm a certified holistic health coach. Because when I was in the industry at BET, I started to know a couple of things. I saw the health of my parents getting worse, and I knew that I wanted to leave the industry because it's so toxic. And shall we? I mean, well, we see what's happening with mainstream media, music, and Hollywood, so I don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But then I'm thinking that I would retire to be in a brick and mortar and then just do independent media. And then when 2020 comes and we're not considered essential, right? And the restaurants are not considered essential. And you know what started to happen in 2020? Because some of you, depending on if you had a business or not, did any of you ever see social distance ambassadors? Because we did. They came by we also would get visitors into our shop. Let's see. You know, you're only supposed to have this many amount of people in your shop. Like, are you following the COVID protocol? So there were people from the city coming in and scaring the crap out of businesses. And then the people that were trying to figure out creative ways to stay open, like restaurants, then you had the COVID snitches, because remember de Blasio putting in like the hotline, and they had to turn it off, I think, because some people started sending bad pics, right? I don't want to get, so then comes the era when we all start to see that when it's not just 2 weeks, and we know that this is not ending. And then my sister and I started feeling this desperation, right? Like when we made the video, we said event 201, blah, blah, blah. So I remember that before I think it was maybe 2019, that might have been the first time I got a video removed, and it was because I interviewed Richard Gage, who was one of the architects of 9/11 Truth movement, right? And so, of course, I knew that was a taboo subject, so I wasn't surprised when YouTube took it down. But I am still surprised and shocked by all of the censorship that someone like my platform has experienced since 2020. When I tell you that in 2021, we lost 8 to 9 Instagram channels in 2 months. And that's when things started kind of coming together, because I'm a media professional, so I wasn't breaking any rules. And the takedowns were not because I was breaking any rules, but they were taking me down because of who I was engaging with on the platform. So if I sent Stephanie an email, a DM, I might lose my channel just for sending that email. And let's say we were personally connected on the back end.
It wasn't even for posting. It was they were tracking your connections on the back end.
Yes. If, let's say,
As
yes.
a reporter.
So I'll give you a couple of one time I tuned into DVS 7.0, doing a live stream. They took my Instagram down. One time, one of my videos was going viral. My channel went. I lost another channel. Another time, I was tuning into John Matlin, who ran for Congress, and on his live, they took down my channel. And then another time, I interviewed Curtis Lewa, who had been running for mayor in 2021. They took down my channel. So you start seeing, a correlation, right? Like, I'm like, okay, so it's not just COVID, it's who I'm connected with and who I'm interviewing. Because then what started to happen, and this is kind of where you guys come in, is that you guys started seeing, wait a minute, you are one of the few Latin based folks in New York City media speaking out. And so I started to realize, wait a minute, why would Cafecito Break be threatening in any way. And then that's when I realized it's not us, it's who we're connected to, because we have spent over 20 years building relationships with industry leaders across all facets of society, in media, in podcasting, in local elections. And now we're here, where to this day, it's 2026, and people who are considered independent, Republican, have to sometimes really pay attention on how they move in these New York City streets. You know, I'll give you an example, like real world. Like the other day, one of our friends got into a fight because a girl was in an establishment. She was wearing a Make America Great Again hat, and some guys didn't like that, and some people got in to defend the girl. And, you know, but it's unfortunate that you can't even be at a location just having a drink. Now you sort of have to mind what you're wearing because you might trigger someone. The same thing when some of us were doing outreach in the city to try to get petitions, you know, elected officials on the ballot. We had some of our peers, including ourselves, we got spit at. We got told to go to hell, to go to wherever we came from. And you start to I have experienced being unpersoned by and being othered by people simply because we are independent platform and I am outwardly Republican to this day. And so then unfortunately that comes with consequences that are cancel culture. We are cancel culture by our community till this day. What does that mean? That means that we have trouble getting into some local Puerto Rican Day parades. And so there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about because the independent media is in an interesting place right now because mainstream media is being redefined, right? We have independent alternative media, and then we have influencers. And sometimes the influencers are the ones that get the most attention because they know how to command and get the clickbait stuff, right? And in this chaos of words and communication, I think that integrity matters. Reporting with integrity matters. I have definitely gone to places to report on events, and I see who is going to the environments to just get the clickbait material, and then who's going to actually interview people and get the issue of the story across. And I think sometimes it harms us when we have people of great influence that maybe are grifting or want to come here, because then all of a sudden, you know, you guys have built such a strong, and they just want to, it's cool now, it's cool and hip to speak up in New York. Right, we're starting to see that. But but so many of us have paved the ways for 10, 15, 20 years and more. And right, so then, but what's happening is that I really believe that, you know, the universe is just, and it shows you. So if you're building from chaos, that's what you will get, and you're not building a strong foundation. You know, Cafecito break, for us, 14 years matters. That means that every decision matters to us. Who we align ourselves with, who we say yes to. Do we accept this contract? Oh yeah, we may need the money, but no, we don't want to be beholden to something that maybe we may not be able to get untangled with. Thank you. I want to read a couple of things here. This is something I wrote a few years ago. For years, we've been warning friends about cancel culture, censorship, and the importance of independent platforms having a place when they can grow and expand. we have realized that the most important thing is getting the message across. And we are driven by a higher mission of personal liberty, medical freedom, and our love for humanity, our divinity, and truth. But here's the thing, like, how do we keep growing and expanding as a community and a society if we allow words and emotionality to get in the way of what we really want to express? This is something that, I don't like to criticize anybody who has and does independent media in whichever way. Some people have guerrilla strategies, right? Some people want to troll. Some people want to get the clickbait. I think all of it has a place in this landscape of communication. I don't criticize the protesters because the protesters matter. Everyone matters. Whatever you can do, whether it's emailing, calling, supporting, donating, but we do need to support independent media.
Yes.
Our foundation is rooted in faith. We believe in God, a loving source that we can all tune into that serves as a gentle guidance for higher wisdom and knowledge. I want to just do a show and tell as we wrap up.
Who's that?
This is AI, but this is me, and this is my sister. Sharing a little cafecito break. We're not twins, but we're in my mom's womb, supposedly, in this picture. But this, we started,
If I be AI, I'd have a coffee with percolating.
I know. You can have it any way you want, but this epitomizes what I feel and believe Cafecito Break is. Whenever we invite you to a Cafecito Break, we're inviting you to this very, very vulnerable womb space where we can have a conversation, and then that way, that's why respect is always really important to us. Don Miguel Ruiz has a quote that says, respect is one of the kindest expressions of love. And that is at the core of Cafecito Break. So we say we can disagree with you, but we can do it with class, right? We are live every Monday, 8 p.m. Join us on the little spaceship. And this is Cozy, myself, and Mark for NY, who ran for office. And Cozy is a health freedom advocate. And then I have that MTV music background, and so together we have quite insightful things. We talk about all New York things, New York news. If you want to learn more, visit cafecitobreak.org. And in conclusion, what I'd like to say is that please do not be discouraged by what you see out there. I think also that when it comes to the algorithm and gatekeeping and censorship, I think that that is something that is going to be maybe even getting worse on some levels. But that's going to take person-to-person conversations, right? I think that people need to see a humanity because a lot of people are still looking at Republicans and not seeing humans. And that to me is dangerous because then when you dehumanize someone, then it's easy for other things to happen, like getting spit on or being saluted, "Hi, Hail Hitler," like that happened to us because we're wearing a MAHA hat. What encourages me every day is that there are millions of us who want freedom. And so we are here 14 years, and we are going to continue to move forward with Cafecito Break and do live shows and events. And hey, maybe I should try to contact Joe because in 2019, I was starting my Cafecito Break live podcast, and then 2020 took that away from me. So I got to get back to some of those things. If you guys want to support Cafecito Break, you could, give us a donation, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, subscribe to our newsletter, or you could do a little Venmo. I have the little thing here. Thank you again for all of your support, and thank you for inviting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, From the beginning, when COVID was all happening, there was nothing better than I loved watching you and your sister, and then you guys did disappear, and now I understood what was going on, but to hear it at that level, that you lost 8 channels and they kept going, it's just unbelievable.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot one thing. I am covering the press conferences where Mayor Mamdani as I can, and I've been able to ask him a few questions, and I'm going to continue to do so. So just keep an eye out for that, okay, guys?
Will do.